Penguin Random House Audio presents Woman Seated by Zhang Yueran, translated by Jeremy Tiang, read for you by Cindy Kay. 1. Yu Ling got up especially early that April morning. Right away, the faint scorch of sunlight on her blanket told her there was no hope of rain. Outside, the day was bright. She sat on the edge of her bed and looked out the second-story window. For half a month, the magnolia tree had shed its blossoms, shrugging them off like an agitated woman. After the last few fell, it came to its senses overnight and was now a normal green tree once more. Yu Ling made the bed, placed her folded pajamas in the wardrobe, and went into the next room. The boy was still asleep. She pulled back his covers. "Get up, quick! Spring outing today!" The boy's eyes popped open. He tumbled out of bed and dashed into the bathroom to brush his teeth. From downstairs came Chopin's revolutionary etude on the record player, her sir's favorite tune. Yu Ling waited by the bathroom door with a gray sweater. The boy came out and shook his head. "I want the yellow one with the cars." He tried to wriggle away, but Yu Ling held him fast. "We're going climbing. That one gets dirty too easily." His trousers were gray too, and his shoes were an old black pair that he was starting to outgrow. The boy grumbled that he already looked grubby, even though they hadn't gone climbing yet. Yu Ling ignored him. "Want to bring a toy?" she asked. "Teddy." "The talking bear?" She shook her head. "Too noisy." Instead, a pale yellow elephant went into the rucksack. "You used to like this one, remember?" The boy ran downstairs. On the dining table stood a row of Tupperware filled with pineapple and cantaloupe, hulled strawberries, and the boy's favorite, peaches. The fruit was merely dessert. For the main course, there were meat and seafood kebabs. Yu Ling had promised the boy a proper barbecue. Proper meaning all the food would be on skewers. She'd spent the previous evening threading meat onto sticks, and now everything she looked at seemed to have a hole in it. Hui, the other nanny, came in from the garden with a watering can. "My God, are you really taking so much stuff?" "Are you coming with us, Auntie Hui?" said the boy. "I should be so lucky." The boy's father came downstairs in exercise clothes, probably on his way to the gym. "Got the gas cylinder?" "I'm bringing 2 spares," Yu Ling replied, her eyes unfocused as usual. Her sir never looked at her, to avoid the insult of her not meeting his gaze. Right now, he was staring at the carved rosewood chair they'd bought not long ago. "Bring a portable stereo so Quan Quan can listen to music along the way." He had an inflated estimation of his son's musical talent and was always nagging him to practice. Just a couple of days ago, the boy refused to go to his piano lesson, so her sir kicked his Lego castle until it lay in pieces. The one the boy and his grandfather had spent a full day building when he last visited. The boy had sworn never to forgive his father for it, and now he refused to turn around even when he called him several times as they were setting off. Yu Ling loaded the Tupperware into the white duffel bag and hefted it onto the trolley, balancing a folding grill atop it. One hand steered the trolley, the other held the boy's hand. "Zip up your coat," she said to the boy. "We'll be walking quite a ways." The boy made a grab for the cart, and glass clink-clanked in the bag. On the grass verge, sprinklers sprayed an umbrella of mist, and the sun beamed a miniature rainbow onto it. The boy stopped and counted on his fingers. "Why only 4 colors? When can I see a complete rainbow?" "I don't know. Maybe the next time it rains." "When will that be?" "We can't have a spring outing in the rain. Which do you want, outing or rainbow?" The boy stuck out his tongue and ran ahead, dragging the trolley after him. They passed a bed of crimson tulips as they walked around the man-made lake to the main entrance. From the shore, a maintenance worker was trying to scoop a dead fish from the water, using a long-handled net meant for leaves. Seeing them approach, he immediately stopped what he was doing and nodded at them. Outside the main gate, Yu Ling led the boy down the street. At the next turning, a battered white van was parked beneath a large tree, its paint mottled, one of its rear hubcaps bent out of shape. The family's driver, Dong, had been supposed to take them, but he was needed to pick up construction materials for the renovations on another house they owned. Yu Ling told him never mind. She knew someone from her hometown who could drive them. The van door opened, and the driver jumped out. The boy blinked at him. "I thought you were Uncle Melon. You don't look like a melon." The man grinned. "Wait till I shave my head, and then you'll see how round it is." The boy walked around the van, pausing behind it to study its rear. Yu Ling had to shout his name a few times before he came running back to the front. She opened the door and told him to climb in, then fastened his seatbelt loosely across his chest. "I'll sit in front. Uncle Melon doesn't know the way." Uncle Melon immediately protested. "I've been in Beijing more years than you." Yu Ling sat in the passenger seat. The man started the engine. The van swayed a few times, then wobbled into life. Excited to be in an unfamiliar vehicle with no child seat, the boy wriggled free from his seatbelt, slid from one end to the other, and stood to reach for the roof until Yu Ling noticed and yelled at him to sit down. The man steered with one hand, reaching for a cigarette with the other. It drooped from the corner of his mouth as he gestured for the lighter on the dashboard. Yu Ling flicked it, but the flame sputtered out. "Silly." The man stuffed the cigarette between her lips. Yu Ling turned to face the window. She didn't want the boy to see her with a cigarette. She lit it, only taking the quickest puff before passing it back. The man pulled a face in the rearview mirror and waggled the cigarette. "Want to try?" "Are you crazy? He's only 7, said Yu Ling. "I was going to street fights with my brother when I was 7, said the man. "I don't have a brother," said the boy solemnly. The man burst into laughter. "So it's your parents' fault? Seems you're good at finding excuses." 2. The van turned off the busy road onto the highway where it could speed up, making the windows hum. Yu Ling took her phone from her fanny pack and glanced at it. As she put it back, her hand brushed against the mini stereo. She pulled it out. The silvery disc, full of little holes, looked like a beehive. When its surface caught the sunlight, it was as if honey was dripping out of it. "What did you bring that for? There's a radio in the van," said the man. "The sound quality is better. What music do you have in your phone?" "You saying you can hear the difference? I only have Xiangxiang comedy on my phone." "I want comedy." The boy clapped his hands. "I've never heard comedy before." "You've got to be kidding me," the man muttered. He tapped his phone, and a strange noise came from the speaker. Before the boy could make out the words, laughter overtook them. The boy laughed too, and kept chuckling along with the recording. He pressed his face to the speaker as if to hear the laughter as soon as possible, the better to echo it. Yu Ling turned to look at him. "Don't bite your nails." Her voice came out too thin for the boy to hear, but she didn't repeat herself. She rested her head on the back of her seat. The man eyed her. "What's up?" "Leave me alone." She shut her eyes. She told herself she ought to nap for a while. There was still some time before they left the city. Yet she felt as if she couldn't shut her eyes tight enough to stop the sunlight from seeping into them. She clearly heard the man fiddling with the lighter and smelled his cigarette smoke. Then a window opened. A rush of wind. The hair at her temples leaping like flames. Wind dying down, quickly rising again, clutching at her scalp, drumming her forehead. She was certain she'd forgotten something. The notion had caught hold of her as soon as she left the house and was growing stronger by the minute. She tried hard to remember, but her head was like a pot full of porridge. Stirring it just made the mess more gluey. The next time she opened her eyes, they were in the countryside, a borderless expanse of fields full of little golden yellow flowers. Rapeseed. She had to think for a moment to retrieve the name. She'd been in the city too long, and flowers were now expensive items with a lifespan of a week. Who was the first person to cut flowers and sell them? What a mind. It was Sunday, she now remembered, which meant a delivery from the flower market. The short florist usually parked his van at the villa gate.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?